Hopefully, Dad, this makes us a bit more dangerous from set pieces.
Yeah.
You know, we've spoken a lot in the past, especially this past season, about how when we defend set pieces, we feel particularly vulnerable, and when we attack them, we feel massively underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Hopefully, someone like Frisk can give us a fighting chance of converting some corners.
Welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And it's fair to say that on a number of occasions, myself and Matt over recent post-match podcasts have referred to the lack of physicality, lack of height, lack of presence up front and the need for that type of player. And the good news is that Birmingham City have obviously been watching our podcast and they've tried to address the problem, because today Blues have confirmed the signing of August Priske. In this podcast, myself and Matt are going to have a quick look at his attributes and basically discuss where and how he'll fit into the Blues team, Matt. So I was really pleased when I saw this one, Matt, in terms of his stature, his quality, not quality, his size, and on paper, and I will emphasise that, it's everything we need up front.
My first two comments, Dad, are great age, 21, and great profile. You know, me and you have mentioned, as you said in your intro perfectly, tall, physical, goal scorer, presence in the box, a nuisance in the box. We need players like that, Dad. And I love what players like this give you. You know, how many times have we seen our forwards get steamrolled this season by those big physical centre-halves? This guy's going to give as good as he gets. Think of Dykes, think of Yuki, you know, think of those kind of players. I don't just love them because of that. I love them as well because they can hold up the ball and then allow their other teammates into the game. And Dykes was far from a perfect player, and he's moved to Charlton this transfer window. But we saw it in League One last season. When you have a physical player like that, it then brings everyone else into the game. You know, I love the idea of having a focal point, you know, from crosses and corners, and we do go a bit more direct now, don't we? Beadle does go long, and it's going up to Kyogo, it's going up to Stansfield, Patrick Roberts, you know, it's going up to small players. We finally have a presence now who can actually now put a battle in, put that challenge in and be physical. On the last video we did, Dad, for Osman, I mentioned sort of a player profile of the players that he could be compared to in English football. I've done it again for Friske just to give people an idea. So Liam Delap, Colton Morris, Tom Cannon, and Shay Adams as well. People have compared him to, without the pace of Shay Adams, but like those kind of players. You know, you're a big fan of Tom Cannon, aren't you? Like you were.
Yeah, I like the old style,
kind of players,
the old style physical centre forwards. Even Kiefer Moore, you know, someone along that type of stat. And you're right, they're so important for our team, which we're missing. That when we hit the ball high into the box, you know, it's either someone who can either flick it on or hold on to it. And then if you got a player that's strong enough to hold on to the ball, as you mentioned, it brings the rest of the team forward. What we've been doing is hoofing the ball up to like Kyogo, who's only tiny, and it's not his fault. No. But it's a non-tactic because he just gets headed straight back. Yeah. So this hopefully will change that.
We were at Swansea on Saturday. How many times did Beadle hoof it and Swansea got the ball back immediately?
I lost count.
Exactly. Yeah. So now at least we stand half a fighting chance of actually holding on to the ball or winning that battle, you know. Makes the world of difference. And, you know, physical centre-halves in the Championship, Dad, are tough.
Yeah.
They are physical, they push you, they make it uncomfortable for you. You need someone that's going to give them as good as they get. I'll never forget when we played Lincoln in the FA Cup, the game that Dyke scored, that screamer. I remember at the end of the game, or when Yuki got subbed, him and Paudie O'Connor actually went up to each other and gave each other a high five, like good battle, good fight. And that's what you need. You need centre-halves and forwards who are going to collide and have a fight and get stuck into each other, and he now gives us that option, and I'm all for it, Dad. We've needed a player like this I wouldn't just say this season, we've needed a player like this for many seasons.
Yeah, it sort of knits the whole game up, doesn't it? In terms of, instead of losing the ball, it might give us a bit more retention up front and make us more on the front foot. He's actually Danish by nationality, but obviously we're buying him from the Swedish league. But actually, he was born in Belgium. Strange. He was born in Belgium. He's Danish nationality, and we're getting him from the Swedish league. 1.87 meters, so 1.95 meters, which is about 6.46, 6 foot 4, 6.5.
Nice.
That's very, very.
That's a giant.
it is really, really tall. Strengths, clinical finishing. I'll read some of his. Excuse me. I'll read some of his goal stats out in a minute. But clinical finishing, good aerial dominance. If you've got a player that's tall and is physical, and and they can be good in the air, that's massive attribute to the team. That is. I'm not just thinking of like balls hoofed up to him. I'm thinking corners, free kicks, even defending when we have to defend in corners. So that's going to be something we've desperately missed, or definitely been missing. Physicality in his hold-up plays is also very good. Remember, he's only 21 as well, so if he's physical at that age, he's only going to get stronger as well. And he's got a really good penalty box presence. He seems, from what I've researched, he seems to have a knack for knowing where to be in the right places.
Kind of a Josh Sargent dad, like an intelligent kind of forward that just knows where to be in the right places and can pull his defender out of positions. You know, if the ball's out wide, you know those attackers that go to the they dart to the penalty spot, but then they dart to the front post and completely lose their defender and knock it. He makes those kind of sneaky last-minute runs to trick his defenders. And I love players like that, again, you know, pulling their defence from pillar to post and they're not really knowing what to do with him. And what he's really renowned for, Dad, as well, his work rate and off-the-ball effort. He presses, he competes, he works for the team. Again, Chris Davies' DNA, he wants his forwards to push the line, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to give us the power in terms of speed and consistency that the likes of Stansfield and Kyogo give us, because they're little, they're athletic. That's the trade-off and caveat you get with physical players.
Yeah.
But he doesn't shy away from hard work, the dirty work, you know, the ugly side of the game. He'll get stuck in and he'll muck in for his teammates. And again, one of the big things we've just spoke about is that intelligent movements in the box and his timings as well. You know, timings of those runs. And the type of goals he's renowned for scoring, I've got a couple of lists here. Well-placed finishes in the box, headers from crosses and long deliveries, quick reactions to loose balls in the box. That could get him a few goals in the Championship, couldn't it? You know, in those little rush scenarios we sometimes see. And then run-ins behind the defenders as well.
Yeah,
so.
I'm thinking young Haaland here.
Okay.
that's, as you're talking, that's what's going through my mind.
Young Haaland.
Because Haaland, some of the stuff that Haaland does, he creates for himself, you know, because he's tall. And because you're big as well, you've got a big stride. So some of the goals, the through balls that Haaland gets, he scores goals that other strikers wouldn't.
Talk about managing the fan base's expectations, Dad.
Haaland.
Well,
I know. I'm saying, you know, when you were talking, I'm thinking that's all the attributes that a young Haaland had. I'm not saying that he's going to. I mean, it is a big set of shoes to fill. He's got a big set of feet, so why can't he? Yeah. But also as well, there was competition for him. You know, I think Besiktas and Turkey were after him as well. And I read a couple of other teams as well. And the actual fee, it depends on what you read. I've read 6 million, 7 million, 8 million. I've read 40% sell-on clauses, and
I've heard it all as well.
If I'm honest with you, it's so confused. I don't know exactly what the fee was, but I do believe we've got him on a long contract as well. So
it's like Stansfield, we got him on a long contract, and then it's what Chelsea do, isn't it? They put their players on massive contracts, and it allows with PSR.
It's called amortization. Is amortization or something like that? It's where the actual fee spread over the life of their contract. So basically, the player on a long contract adds value, doesn't it? All the years that they're still there, and that's the way that they can do it with long contracts. But I don't know the exact, and you know, we read everywhere, don't we, about this is being paid. It's like Stansfield, you know, the fee every time you talk to somebody, it's a different one.
40 million in the end, wasn't it?
It kept going up,
getting ridiculous. Well.
But it looks like a good signing. Just a few stats because I know that you love them, and it is worth mentioning as well. Obviously, he's playing in the Swedish league. Last season, he played 27 games, scored 18 goals and 2 assists. And I know people were screaming at the screen saying that's the Swedish league. And yes, I get it. You know, we have to wait and see how they do that, because the Championship is a completely different beast.
It is.
To a lot of leagues. And that's why a lot of players do struggle. I think Marvin Duksch mentioned it, didn't he, a few weeks ago in one of the interviews to one of the German papers or German sports magazines, saying that he's surprised. You know, it took him a little bit of a while to adjust to the regularity of the games, the physicalness, and all that type of stuff.
Tempo. A lot of people struggle with the tempo of English football, that it's so fast.
Yeah.
You know, it's all, especially with modern football, with the pressing, and you know, you have to be an athlete now, not just good technically or physically at football. You have to be an elite athlete now with the fitness levels and stuff. Yeah. So I think in English football, it's renowned for that. And
he played in the European Europa Conference League last season as well. 10 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. He's played in the Swedish Cup, and you know, his transfer history really is you know, he hasn't had major moves, but he has played for teams in Norway, Denmark, and obviously currently Sweden, Djurgarden, which is the team that we've actually bought him from. And you know, he scored Djurgarden. He's played 52 games for them. This is the current team. Scored 24 goals and 3 assists. You can see why he's sought after. PSV under 21s, 42 games, 4 goals. FC Eindhoven. Now that is not PSV Eindhoven. That's FC Eindhoven in Holland. 29 games, 3 goals, 1 assist, and yeah, he scored goals everywhere. everywhere he's been. He's predominantly a centre forward, but my stats in his early career show he's also played as a right winger, a left midfielder, and a left winger, but only in odd games. But very dominant as a centre forward. 108 games, 37 goals, 8 assists, and he's played for the Denmark under-18s, under-19s, under-20s, and currently the 21s, and scored goals for them as well.
Hopefully, Dad, this makes us a bit more dangerous from set pieces. Yeah. You know, we've spoken a lot in the past, especially this past season, about how when we defend set pieces, we feel particularly vulnerable, and when we attack them, we feel massively underwhelmed. Yeah. Hopefully, someone like Frisk can give us a fighting chance of converting some corners, because we are quite a small team, aren't we, by nature? And we do lack physicality sometimes in certain games when it demands it. I just hope, set pieces, corners. Tommy Doyle now whipping them in with pace, from deep free kicks, corners, whatever it is.
Because we've got a target man there.
Exactly.
We've got and that's what we've lacked as well. Oh, you are right, though, about the physicalness. And, we brought in Solis, who is physical. Osman as well. He's pacey and he's got a reputation for being physical. And now this, because I think they've identified
Wagner,
that.
Physical.
Yes, as well. So we do need that as well. And sometimes as well, earlier in the season, when the teams are lining up before the game and they're shaking hands, it's like the opposition shaking hands with the ball boys.
All the under-21s. It's mad, isn't it?
Because we're just like not that fit. I mean, we have got lots of Clara, who's tall. Dutch is tall, but not physical.
Yeah, Williamson's tall, but not physical.
Yeah, so you need that mix, but we've definitely lacked that physicality.
Yeah.
This is another addition, in my opinion, that will address that.
I agree.
So last season, just to finish off his stats, he was in the squad 28 times in the Swedish league. He started 24 and he was brought in as a substitute for 3. And if you look at the game, Tom, every game is virtually 90 minutes. He's basically he's just a regular player. So he comes to us having played regular football in a league that we don't know much about, Swedish, but we'll find out when he plays for us.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the big thing, isn't it, Dad? For all these players, and I'm sure the Blues fans are going, yawn, Matt's at it again. Like, it's just the adaptation to the English game. That's all I think about when no one's played in that league before. Because the Championship, Dad, I'll stand by. I genuinely, and people might think I'm absolutely bonkers, I think it's the best league in the world.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can go to the Premier League and, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there aren't world-class players there. And, the money there is incredible and the teams and the stadiums up there are great as well. But actually, in terms of like anyone being able to beat anyone on their day and entertainment value, the Championship's unrivaled.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. So, you know what, Dad? You raised a very good point at the start of the podcast, a very good way of putting it. On paper, he looks like a brilliant signing, but let's see what he's got. And as I said, I'm excited to finally get some stability up front.
I'm just smiling because how me and you have learned during the podcast that we have always now very cautionary with new players. Because we have it, not just us, but the fan base sometimes have a tendency to get carried away.
Dad.
Yeah,
I get excited, and I think everyone does.
I think we do, because we do need to make some changes in the team, and this is another one that looks great. And if he turns out to be, scoring loads and loads of goals, he'll become a proper hero down at Blues.
Exactly.
But another signing that's through the door, and again, I think that the attributes that the club have brought in through him are much needed. But what do you think, Birmingham City supporters? Let's know what your feelings are on this edition. Obviously, take it as read that we need to see him. We need to see how he adjusts. But where do you think and how do you think he'll do? Do you think he'll come straight into the team? Will he play at number 9? Sort of almost lends itself. He needs to do that probably. But will Chris Davis play him as number 9? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you did like this podcast, then don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And if you'd like to watch or listen to your podcast on Spotify, you find us on there as well. And you see the handles appearing on the screen for all these channels right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already and you'd like to, then hit that big red subscribe button. And if you hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button, you'll get notified every single time myself and Matt put out a new podcast. So that's it for this one. And myself and Matt will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.